Hey guys, it's Paradise, and if you want to put enemies to sleep, you need to do this. In the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, there's a new weapon that comes with a new status effect called Eternal Sleep. In this video, we're going to show you how to get the Velvet Sword of St. Trina, an awesome looking straight sword, and we'll let you know the difference between the standard sleep and the new Eternal Sleep. This sword comes with a unique skill, the Mists of Eternal Sleep, which allows you to send a cloud of very cool looking eternal sleep that will quickly put enemies into a slumber, making it the perfect weapon for a more interesting playstyle. If you want to grab this, you will need to go to this location on the map in the Cerulean Coast. The Cerulean Coast is a little difficult to know how to get there if you've not been there before, so here's a super quick rundown of how to get there, and if you need additional help, we have a video on the channel for you to refer to which does the full walkthrough of the route. The quick version is though to fast travel to the castle front site of Grace and head south to the hill until you get to a cave entrance located here. Just follow this route on the map and you should be able to find it. Go through the cave hugging the left side and you'll see a bunch of rocks that you can parkour on with your horse. From here, descend down into an area with a massive furnace. Stick to the right and head up the hill and you'll see some blue flowers. And now that you have the Cerulean Coast site of Grace, we'll be heading to the southern tip of the area and going to the Fisher Cross site of Grace Point. You need to follow this route to get here. So from the Cerulean Coast, hop on your horse and we want to head sort of south-southeast, but of course be wary of the Drake if you haven't killed it. That thing is an absolute beast to fight. It's a really cool battle, but it can take some time, especially if you don't have a lot of fragments. So for now, dodge out of the way of it, head up this sort of pathway to the pillar where you get the map, and keep heading south. When you get over the hill, follow the road to the right and keep following this road. It will loop around forward to the left as we're going sort of southwest. The enemies here shouldn't be a problem for you, but this guy can throw pots and as you can see it can hurt. If you keep running though, you shouldn't die to them. Once you get to this point, run up the platform and jump off the right side, down into the sort of blue flowery area, and you'll see this giant cavern or fissure, and if you peek over the edge, you'll see there is actually a way to parkour down on this western side. So run along and come to this western sort of side part where you see all of these different ledges and make your way down. There will be some enemies like slime enemies on the way, but if you stay on your horse, you should be able to drop down without too much trouble. Remember, if you do fall a couple platforms at a time, you may need to use a potion, but that's fine. As you get lower though, you're going to see the Site of Grace, which is great because this can be kind of like a checkpoint if you do end up dying in the bits coming ahead. So hop off your horse when you get to the Site of Grace and grab that checkpoint. After this though, you can heal up if you use some potions, and then head east into the cave. You cannot use your horse at the moment, so you're going to have to do this part on foot. Follow the cave around until you get into the stone coffin fissure with another grace point, which you might as well pick up even though it was right near that previous one that we just unlocked. From here we want to head south, as you can see the route that I'm taking, and go past the enemy here on this big platform. Jump over, make sure you don't fall, there's a little gap there as well. Dodge the second enemy and go on this platform that will break and you will fall down, but you will survive it without any damage. Progress east in the route that I'm taking, and then keep going until you get to a footstep of Miquella and a Site of Grace, and then leave the Site of Grace heading northwest where we're going to do some crazy parkour. Go along the edge of this platform on the western side and then carefully look down where you should be able to slide but land and survive. From here, jump down the eastern pathway and go under this little cave area. Once you arrive at the location with the shiny item, don't fall for the same FromSoft trick that got us. There'll be some enemies that drop down behind and try to grab you, so just bait it out, defeat the enemies, and then grab your brand new sword. This is the Velvet Sword of St. Trina. It's got Strength E, Dex D, and Int E scaling, and requires 10 Strength, 12 Dex, and 14 Int. This isn't the first time that we've seen the Sword of St. Trina in the game, as there's a base game version of this same weapon. The description of this one though says the Silver Sword of St. Trina, now stained the color of velvet. As mentioned before, this has a new weapon skill, the Mists of Eternal Sleep, that sends out a cloud of eternal sleep, but just like the base game, it applies a buff to the weapon that sticks around for 20 to 30 seconds after you cast it, allowing you to inflict higher values of eternal sleep on a target by hitting them. So what's the difference between normal sleep and eternal sleep? Well, the cool thing to know about Eternal Sleep is that unlike the normal version, when you do this on an enemy, you'll still be able to hit them without waking them up from the sleep at all. This is a very cool concept, but unfortunately it doesn't work on all the bosses and enemies in the game. There are, however, certain enemies like the trolls and even bosses like the Godskin duo that can be put to sleep, meaning this weapon is a great option for anyone who wants to take on those fights a little differently. This makes the weapon very powerful for bosses and enemies that it does actually work on, so it's definitely worth a go, and it certainly makes for a unique Eternal Sleep playstyle. Drop a like and comment to let us know if we've helped you out, and subscribe for all of the Elden Ring content we have coming your way very soon.